My name is Miles McLaughlin. I work at Wilco Land, and I'm going to discuss Crow Wing County's GIS system. This is going to allow you to do due diligence on your own. Our company offers more of a self-service real estate model, and why this exists is some of these properties we're selling are 5, 10, 15, 50,000. Compare that to a house, 200, 300, 400,000, right? Real estate agents are working off commission, and that means I spend a lot of time on these smaller properties. So what Wilco does is try and source these properties at the right value, bring them out to the open market, offering owner carry and wholesale cash deals. But part of that is putting the power in the buyer's hands to do their own due diligence. And to do that, I want to show you a video. This is going to answer a lot of common questions, not necessarily answer, but teach you how to answer questions on your own, right? So you can start looking at land, whether it's Crow Wing County or maybe a different county. A GIS program, if you've never heard of that, is going to be a super useful tool, and just being able to search the property, play around with Google, who's going to be your best friend during this time. So things like adjoining neighbors, land use zoning, development, looking at roads, state trails, public lands nearby. Is it in a flood zone? I'm going to cover all that in this video. Stay tuned with me. I'm going to hop right into it by sharing my screen with you. To start here, I have our website, Wilco Land, and we post properties. We try and post all the details about these listings as much as we know right now. I mean, this is a new county for me, but we have a decent amount of inventory here, and I'm getting quite a few questions. I haven't made an individual video for all these listings. I try and make a video summarizing, what I know about the listing and how you can go view it on your own, things of that nature. Again, let me use this property as an example here in Cross Lake. It is 1.5 acres, and we've got photos. These photos are meant to give a depiction of the area. Again, this is a video I specifically did for this property. You'll see that at a lot of listings. We had a photographer get a drone here. There's not much on the back end for photos, but again, this is a new county to us. We're learning about it. I'm learning about land use. I'm learning how to use their systems. But to get you started, the number one thing you want to identify the property is not going to be an address. Oftentimes, vacant land does not have an address. You're going to use the parcel ID. We do have the zoning for this property, but sometimes it won't be in there. And we do have a land use services page. We do have some ordinance and definitions here. Let's see if that's all correct. But in either case, to really start due diligence on a property, I'm going to start by searching the parcel ID number, which is how you identify a property. And to do that, I'm going to Google the county it's in, and this can apply to other counties. Crow Wing County, Minnesota, parcel search. Here we go. And some counties have really great GIS systems. Some counties have great information in their database. Other counties a little bit less so. So it just depends on where you're looking at lands. We have a property overview here. Just taking a look, this is what the county taxes the property at. Their estimated market value, $55,000. You see an assessed value for a property. Oftentimes the market value is quite a bit higher than assessed value, but it varies from area to area. Every market's totally different when you're looking at that. So next thing I want to jump to is just some land information here. This is talking about, this has some first tier lakeshore, 20,000 square feet, a half an acre, values at 35. So they're breaking down that $5,600 value and a little bit more here. So moving on to the next, there's no residential buildings. It's vacant land. We saw that on the first page on the property overview. There's no additional structures or commercial apartment buildings. Next thing I'm going to show you is the GIS map. This is the bread and butter of my conversation today. So pay attention here. We're going to cover a lot of things. I'm going to try and get it done in just a couple minutes for you. The property I looked up, as you can see, is outlined here. There's a lot of fluff, I guess you could say. This is a parcel ID number for the next property. I want to get rid of some of this. What I want to do is, well, you can zoom out as much as you want. This is called the GIS map. And I want to add a layer to this map. I want to remove some of the fluff I have in here. So parcels, parcel dimensions, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of parcel numbers. We can leave roads. I don't need any infrastructure. If you want to look at how close are Minnesota state trails, go ahead and click these boxes. Where can I snowmobile? Can I snowmobile, right? Are there trails across from my property? Is there BLM land next door with trails? So this is pretty cool if you're into outdoor recreation. But for the purpose of this video, that's something you can look up on your own. You can go to the legend and easily see what you're looking at. So I want to get into stuff that's maybe a little bit more high level. One of the things could be water features. Hey, is this in a flood zone? Is this all a swamp that I'm buying? Let's look at that. So this is shorelands, national wetlands inventory. Okay. I mean, there's a legend. We can probably read about that more, but This property here, obviously, there's a lot of wetland. I can click into it and see who the owner is. You can click around adjoining properties. So again, this is, you know, a summary of what we just looked at for this property, all put together here. It's valued at 5,400, probably because this is wetlands right here. I'm going to get out of this for the sake of this video and not cover that too much, but county ditch data. Again, this might apply to some other properties. It doesn't apply here. Obviously, nothing came up. As I do that, let's scoot this over so we can see things change in front of us. Again, we can go to the map contents. We can look at the legend here. We inputted the wetlands. I'm partly colorblind, so I'm guessing this is deep or shallow marsh. You can call the county and inquire in more detail about this. You know, ask them questions. You know, how do I read this map? I'm looking at it. They'll be really impressed, I think, with you going that extra mile, going into the GIS system, trying to find information on your own instead of calling about every single question. So again, this is a great start. You can do it after work from the comfort of your home. You don't even have to hop on the phone with anybody. Get you started with your land search. So let's get rid of water features. People ask about land use or zoning. What can I do with the property? Can I park a mobile home? Can I recreate? Can I camp? Let's look into that. Land use is going to be a big feature. What we're looking at here, what does blue mean, or this purple? And then R. When we go to land use, Crow Wing County land use, these are public lands. So it's tough to see right here. I know this already, I've looked into it. These are public lands, that's what that stands for. Let's see, this is something along the lines of shoreland district, just like we had in the website. So that's interesting. This property has been built on and developed. So that's another cue. I know we can't see it right here, but if I were to take this layer off, and we were to look at the Google Earth imagery, which I can do right now. So this is a legend. If we're unsure what you can do in the rural residential 20, you know, this is just minimum acreage 2.5, sensitive shoreland. You know, what can you do? Maybe just hop on Google, shoreland district zoning in Crow Wing County, Minnesota. Maybe you start there. And then you go into, you know, you search some of these articles. If we really can't find it, and I won't spend time doing it right now, I'm just showing you the power of Google searches and being specific in that. If we don't find what we're looking for here, give the county a call. Do you know where I can go to find some definitions, what I can do with the shoreland district zone property? That's county land use. And let's get rid of that. And let's see if this changes anything. County administered, municipal, federal, state. Okay, so that's a little different. That adds a layer. Something over there could be different. We can look at the legend. That's federal land, so maybe BLM lands. Well, let's get rid of land ownership. Looking at what district you want to be in. If you're looking for residential property, which we don't sell as much, but you can click through these. You want to click these to add them to the layer. I'm actually going to get off Crow Wing County land use. So when it comes to, hey, can I develop on this property? Can I build? Can I put my mobile home on it? Let's say you're really interested in this, even just an indicator. So this property is zoned the exact same, very similar property to ours right here. They have a house, that means they developed. That's a really great sign. I know it's not the answer, but it's a really great indication and an optimistic sign that yes, you can build on this property, right? There's a lot more that goes into building, but on the surface, when you're looking at a piece of vacant land, it's a really great sign. So looking at other properties and seeing what has been done on them, and if they match that zoning, they match your profile on the GIS map, who's to, you know, why were they able to do it and you won't be able to in the future? So I know it's not a black and white answer, but it gives you some optimism. It gives you some leeway to move forward with and continue working on due diligence for a property. So political subdivisions, we don't need that. So a lot of county layers here. We looked at some of that. Land ownership, we did that already. So that's all federal lands back there. So I mean, that's interesting to know, you know, how close are you to BLM land, you know, ATV trails and things of that nature. So let's open up the base map and see if we can look into that. So this is just transparency. It's really, like I said, I'm kind of new to this too. This is the bread and butter there. So we can change this, aerial 2019. This just changes it, base map. Not much changes. So yeah, I mean, this is our GIS system, and this is our legend to discuss all this. We can start Googling what different things mean. Sometimes with these properties moving away from GIS systems, photos, you can pay your taxes online. You can see if a property is in default, looking at that. So special assessments, there's going to be nothing here, but you can look at tax statements. So this is all really great stuff. I want to close out this conversation. The next thing I want to look up is land use and development in Crow Wing County, Minnesota. So this is going to bring you to land services. This is where I would go first. You have a lot of different questions about what you can do with properties, about sales, about plat maps, you know, property searches. This is a really great home base to get started on. And I'm available here if you guys ever want to schedule a 15-minute meeting and talk about how to do due diligence. But again, we're identifying properties with the parcel ID, and we're diving into the GIS map to find a lot of the common questions that people are asking. Just touching on, hey, can I get water, you know, power, septic on the property? Is it city water? You know, things of that nature. The GIS map will show if it's in those city limits where maybe water is available, or a sewage system. But if not, maybe you hop on Google and you Google local well drillers in Cross Lake or in Crow Wing County, and you find some people and say, hey, I'm looking at a property here, you know, off, you know, I-29 and Timbuktu Road. Have you ever worked in the area? You know, it's around Cross Lake, it's around Duck Lake. And they might say, yeah, I've drilled 100 wells over the last 10 years in that area. The groundwater is not very deep. So that's something, you know, just a little outside the box, thinking that way, getting on Google, using it as your best friends, and going from there. So again, Miles McLaughlin checking out. This is Crow Wing County's GIS system. Give me a call anytime, 605-299-5553, and we hope to see you soon.